So, Maddie, I know you've got something special for us, a little sort of side series to our main show. And because we're into startups and we build a lot of products, um, I know you've got a kind of a whole range of new cool projects that you want to highlight, mainly on Product Hunt. So, do you want to run us through them?
Yeah, yeah. Let's just share my screen. So, can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah, Product Hunt is a site where, like, a lot of you should know it if you're in the startup scene. It's like new products come out every day, people upvote them, and you can just browse the new cool stuff for the day. So, maybe each week or both of us can just find the best ones and just talk about them from a developer and a startup point of view. So the first one is more of a developer one because yeah, I'm a programmer and we use Tailwind CSS and it's just called just-in-time mode. And it's for those that use Tailwind, basically you would know that Tailwind itself is actually a huge library of CSS code because it gives you all these little basically CSS classes, which allows you to do like a lot of different things. And
So
when you add
what you're
them,
talking about is really the design of the website, like how it visually appears when you're talking about the CSS and front end sort of stuff.
yeah, so your CSS class, instead of writing a separate CSS rule, you can just add the classes in directly in the HTML. And this, when you add up all, you got like space x4, then you might have space x2, space x1. When you look at the actual CSS file, it's a mammoth file, and when you deploy it to production, which means put your site online, it actually reduces that file size. It looks at all the classes you actually use, and that's the only ones it puts into the CSS file. Right. So the end result is a really small production file, like file size, and that's great. But when you're in development mode, you're actually using all the thousands of classes, so it's actually slightly slow. And I don't know if you noticed it, but when we developed, it was a bit. Sometimes your window would get a bit slow over time,
Mm,
and
I did notice that. Yeah.
yeah, it's just painful. But now Tailwind reduced this just-in-time thing, which basically gives you the benefits of the production CSS, but in development.
Mm,
Does that make sense? So it's always, yeah. Anytime you make a file change, it scans your files,
mm,
finds all the
mm.
classes you use, and only uses those in the final CSS. So you've got this nice slim CSS all the time while you're developing.
I think
That
that's
makes sense.
genius. Yeah, it really makes sense. I think that's genius, right? Like you're only loading essentially what you need to on that particular page. And then I think I watched this video actually, and it reduced like a 10 meg file, which doesn't sound like a lot, right? People talk about gigabytes or whatever these days. But, when you're trying to produce something on the fly instantly, I think they reduced it from 10 meg to about 10 kilobytes, right? So like,
Mm.
there's a huge reduction in, what you need to produce, and it makes, as you said, the development process a lot quicker. And yeah, no,
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, it's great. So yeah, that was a cool product. Next we got
Cool.
it's called Fig Jam, and we played around with this, but people might
I'll
know
send you this one.
Figma. Yeah, people know Figma, and they came out with this new feature called Fig Jam, and I guess the jam means you're like kind of jamming together. I guess trying to copy how musicians jam together, but you're jamming on a whiteboard, so you can like easily create. I guess maybe you're in a meeting or something, and you all want to like discuss a topic. You can all kind of work off the same whiteboard, add sticky notes. And if someone else was in this room, that you could see their mouse moving around and they could add stuff and modify it. So it's a cool little. Figma is obviously branching out into trying to get into some new space here. Um,
Very cool. Very cool.
any Any
Oh,
thoughts on that? Or
I was actually just over here trying to jump back into that fig jam. I couldn't find the one. Oh, did you just create that one?
oh yeah,
I was trying to jump
I
into
just
one.
created that.
I was gonna do the emoji thing, just like 1,000 emojis.
Yeah, I just sent you the link
That
on the. Yeah, you can emote. Uh, so that's what's that E?
that's the
So if I
event
hit,
client.
yeah, then I got these emotic. Like I can just be like, oh yeah, I love that, or that's hot,
Yeah,
fire, blah, yeah, or
I think the young people say lit these days, Matty. You gotta
oh
get
lit, yeah, lit. That's
get
it.
with the terminology. Yeah,
I can just see
yeah.
there's someone having a meeting, and then there's just this one childish person just spamming
Draw
the
something
emotes,
inappropriate.
just like no, I hate that.
Yeah, it is quite cool for like, I can imagine brainstorming and just, if you've got a group of people, it could be quite cool if you're on a video meeting and you just sort of, yeah, you put some quick sort of thoughts together. I can see this being quite useful in that scenario. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
what are your thoughts?
yeah. I mean, yeah, seems interesting. I think it could be work out in the certain circumstances. Um,
Mm, mm,
so
cool.
we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, next we got it's called Relate. Now, I only just saw this, so bear with me. But it looks
Mm,
like it's sort of similar to maybe Wix in that you can build a website. Hold on, let's go to
mm-hmm,
wire
mm-hmm.
relate. Story web design tools. I don't want to read a story. Features. So it's looking like, yeah, style sheets, global styles, element styles. Great content with HTML. It's not.
Mm.
I was hoping for some like screenshots, but
Yeah, okay. But at its simplest, we're looking at a sort of Wix sort of competitor here,
mm,
building sort of do-it-yourself websites, quite easy to get up and running without requiring a web developer, something like that. No
yeah,
code.
there's this whole no code movement, so I'm guessing it's
Mm,
part of that movement.
right,
Um,
right.
I've just uploaded something. This is a template, risk,
Okay. Yep.
atoms, components. Part of this is not very intuitive.
Mm. So
Uh,
perhaps this could be, yeah. Maybe
looks
they're
like
still working on it. I don't know.
it's
Yeah.
like a bunch of it's like a template, and you can use these. Oh, there we go. View only mode, join, relate, or login. Well, maybe we
Right.
can't really demo that. But look, I'm always interested in these kind of do-it-yourself
Mm, mm,
websites because you might be able to do to if you run an agency or something, you might be able to utilize it.
mm. Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah.
The next one is Calendso, and it's
Okay.
touts itself as a Calendly alternative. So Calendly is the biggest,
Mm,
like the big name player in this space, where it makes it
mm,
easy for you to make yourself sort of bookable. And we've used that on one or two of our client sites. Uh, so yeah, it's just a meeting scheduler,
mm.
and yeah, so this is like an open source alternative, meaning you can sort of sidestep paying Calendly, but it's only open source. I mean, you have to host it yourself, so self-hosted it makes it
I
free.
see. Yeah, gotcha. Right.
Yeah, so
I've got
self-hosted.
to say, yeah, self-hosted. Yeah, there you see. Yeah, gotcha. I'm going to say
Yeah.
Calendly's really been beneficial for the clients that we've implemented it for. Um,
Mm.
they've absolutely loved it. Their clients love it. Um, And I'm sure if you ask them, they would say that they wouldn't mind paying for it because of the you know, just the immense value it's brought to their businesses. But yeah, it's like it's like anything these days. There always seems to be a free alternative. So I guess if you could host this
Yeah.
yourself, it may save you that, $10, $15 a month kind of thing.
Well, as a developer, I thought other developers out there might like this, but you can see that because it's open
Mm,
source, you can go and see their code, and they use some
mm,
sort of the
mm.
latest JavaScript tech, so like Prisma for just a database
Ah,
tool,
yeah.
and they use React, they use TypeScript, so it's a nice example of how
Mm,
to create a modern JavaScript app. So I was quite
mm.
interested in reading about that, and they use Tailwind as well, which is cool.
Ah, okay. That's
This
great.
is like this is the stack. Um, so yeah, that's interesting to read. It's always good to stay up with the stacks, and we use a different one. I'm sure we'll talk about it in another video, our stack. But yeah,
Hmm.
next we got a landing page checklist. So when
Okay.
it's quite normal to create landing pages when you're in the startup world, and this sort of tells you all the like it's like a basically a cheat sheet of all the tools you need to get a landing page up and running. So step one, learn the basics. Why do I need it? You don't really need that. But step two, find a domain name. Here's all the places to buy a domain name. Build a landing page. So here's like a list of similar to what we're looking at with Relate. These are a bunch of places you can build
No
landing
code.
pages.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, no code. So I haven't heard of Unicorn platform. We use Webflow, of course. Breezy Cloud, I haven't heard of. So there's a bunch here I'm keen to check out.
Yeah,
But
quite a few there actually. I've never heard of. That's great. Something to look into. Definitely.
yeah, so yeah, it's handy. You can find hosting. I'm sure they've got affiliate links and all those. Look down, design a logo.
Mm.
Also useful.
Canva is one that we've used a few times. Actually, Australian as well. An Australian unicorn. They've done incredibly well. But yeah, I've used that a few times. It's actually really, really easy to use.
Yeah, yeah, Canva's great.
Mm.
Discover your illustration, so you know,
Hmm.
make you make it stand out, and then even I don't know SEO friendly marketing copy,
Oh
just
yeah,
in case you can't write your own, just get some AI to
and
do it.
just get some AI. I was going to say the same thing. Just yeah, I wonder how good that is. I think we have looked into this before actually, just to see what the quality was like. And if I remember correctly, it wasn't actually that bad. Um,
Oh, okay,
so
yeah,
it's interesting. We should look into that again. Actually, yeah, that's funny. Get a computer to
that's
write it for you.
yeah. I mean, I'm curious. Okay, so you write a description, and it gives you
Mm, hmm.
all these sort of headlines, and you can
Mm,
okay,
mm,
that's not bad. I love these kind of little videos which just explain the product in
mm,
2 seconds. Like every every startup should have this kind of little thing.
mm. Very true.
Um, yeah, so yeah, all right. So next we got. Oh no, I just clicked on this unicorn. That's another no code. The
Mm,
simplest drag and
yes.
drop landing page builder for startups. Mm,
Hmm.
there you go. There's heaps of them around. So here's another one which is kind of on the developer side of things. I mentioned before, like the Calendso is on React and uses like React components. So this sort of takes it to a halfway point between no code and code. So basically, you your React components are on this system Plasmic, and you can modify them like as a no coder,
Hmm.
and you can like change the way they look and stuff. And Plasmic, and then in for a developer, they like plug in these components, but they just plug in the component as a whole. Like they don't really they allow the
Hmm.
no coders to design it or whatever, and then they just plug it
Yeah.
in and
Yeah.
hook it up with the data.
So with the workflow, how this would work, would the coders kind of build the component first, import it to Plasmic, and then the design would happen on top of that, and then it would get exported and back to the coder, or how would you envision that workflow happening?
I think you create it first on Plasmic, and
Okay. Yeah.
then they become available to the developer. I'm not sure. I haven't used this, so
Mm.
sorry if you're a Plasmic
Yeah.
person. I'm sorry, but yeah, it basically it syncs it up. So in your code,
Mm.
you can now just reference the component. Like anyone who
Mm.
knows React sort of knows how you reference. It's similar to in Surface for our Elixir projects. You just how instead of a div, you
Mm.
write page header.
Yep.
It's the same way as React. So like here's like a starter one. So this
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so these are, see it says components here and say footer. So that's the footer component. So if I
Mm.
plug that
Mm.
into my project, that's what it'll look like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And any no coder, I'll call them, can come in and modify,
Change
change the
any
stuff.
of these sort of elements. Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the shift and sort of, I guess, fusion between sort of design tools and web development now. I think that's happening more and more.
Mm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah,
it allows you to visualize things before, I guess, going and sort of coding everything. So yeah, I think
it's
suits certain
yeah,
people.
it's just yeah. So this is kind of like Webflow, really. It's just like
Mm,
same sort of stuff. I think they copied Webflow. Look at this. That's the same as
yeah,
Webflow.
that
And
is, yeah, yeah,
can I option click? Oh no, I can't. Anyway,
yeah.
yeah. So that's Plasmic, and yeah, interesting. Next, I've
Very
got
cool.
this is the one I love. It's called Lofi Cafe, and
Hmm.
all it is a radio station basically for lo-fi. So if
Ah,
if you
cool.
want to count, if it's, I love lo-fi for developing too because it's just really relaxed. All you
Mm,
do is you load it up and then you just click and it starts playing. I don't think we're going to hear it though.
there's no audio. Nah, can't hear anything.
There's audio for me, so I think our listeners will be able to hear it.
Oh, okay, right. Yep, just me then.
If I You can change the channel. It changes the whole background. I'm trying to. There we go. So
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Star Wars lo-fi.
So do you find this helps you just focus, Matty? You just like working to this sort of
Yeah, I mean, usually I'll go onto
lo-fi
Spotify and just
stuff?
type in
Yeah.
lo-fi anyway. So this is just a shortcut
Mm,
in a way,
mm,
and you
mm,
and you
yeah.
get this cool sort of pixelated art as well,
Mm,
which
mm,
kind of looks relaxing in a way. Some of them do.
mm. Yeah, cool. Yeah,
It's
very
the
nice.
Yep. Finally, we got Figma app. So someone
Mm.
just spelt Figma wrong, smarter them, and that's basically a bunch of high high performing Figma templates inspired by the best launches during 2021.
Mm.
So it's a paid pack, $29, and they look pretty good.
Mm. Good. That's great. Yeah, a lot of
Could
different sort
be
of designs there.
could be useful for if you want to just whip up something. So the product hunt template.
Yeah, there's a lot of those product hunt templates. Very nice. Look at all that. Yeah. So you get access to all those designs, and yeah, hopefully you could whip up
Yeah, it could be
something
useful.
pretty.
Maybe we can just look through it and
Mm,
see if it's worth getting. But these kind of packs can be useful. You just get a pack and then instead of
mm.
spending hours trying to recreate the wheel, you can just start with something.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very.
Testimonials.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think they have some filters at the top. Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah, that's all I've got for this week. Um,
That rounds
yeah.
up this week's suggestions from Matty Platts. Very nice.
Yep. All right.
But as you were saying, there's a lot of great projects on Product Hunt, so check it out.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, product hunt's great. Yep. Nice to read and waste time every day procrastinating on that.
Awesome.
Cool.
Signing off.
All right. Yep.